Hi everyone, it's Kevin YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's video I'll be reviewing the round 12 of the AFL season. If you haven't attended Kevin Magpies, welcome and share. If you're new to the channel, watch this for the first time, welcome, share and subscribe. Now how I do this is pretty simple. All I just do is I go through the games and let you guys have your opinions, and why not? Let's just get straight into it, shall we? Now, also, can the Power continue on their win streak and make it at least back-to-back wins? Or can the Blues upset the Power at home, where Port Adelaide would have been 3 wins in a row? Can the Magpies respond after a disappointing draw against the Dockers, or can the Bulldogs finally surprise and play footy for once and get the job done? Can the Hawks continue on their form, or will Adelaide break down CG Hoodoo and continue on their form? Can the Eagles upset the Saints, or can the Saints finally get the job done after 4 embarrassing losses? Can the Cats break their 4-game losing streak, or can the Tigers finally get the win since 2005? Can the D's get the job done at TIL Traeger Park in Alice Springs, or can the Dockers beat the D's? Can the Gold Coast Suns continue on their win streak at home, or can the Bombers get the job done at People's First Stadium? Now, while we do go on the first game, 36-point win, 16-11, 107 to 10, 11, 71. Now, I want to give Carlton credit for this win. You know, they really did deserve it. Being that close throughout the whole game, and while it was very close indeed, and Port Adelaide were always going to be in the game, but Carlton just found ways to kick goals. After 3/4 time, they kicked 6 goals 1 compared to 3 goals 2. Now, Port Adelaide, to me, they seem like a team that they are so untrustworthy. They can beat up the sides like that. They just got the job done against the Hawks, and they beat up North Melbourne pretty convincingly. And even though North Melbourne fought hard, and even though they came from 41 points down, the Power, realistically, I think they probably should have lost that game to the Hawks compared to losing to the Blues, because it feels like they need to. And to me, they feel like a top with a team that they are. Like, they just don't play well in big games, and that's going to be the issue. Look, I have said it on plenty of times with Port Adelaide as well. I would have thought they would have got the job done at home, considering that, you know, that they're all playing at the Adelaide Oval. But you just can't trust Port Adelaide. Carlton now showing on what they're capable of. Big game against the Bombers on King's birthday eve, which, again, that can go either way, but it is interesting to see what happens with Ken Hinkley. As I said, like, Ken Hinkley should be sacked, and I think as well, like, Ken Hinkley isn't a good coach. He's been there for 11 years. He's been in the finals, yes, prelim finals and that sort of thing, but he hasn't really done as much as getting him into a grand final. And Port Adelaide have had their chances, like, 2013 they made finals, 2014 they made a semi-final, but then they missed finals for 2 years. In 2017 they lost an elimination final on extra time, and then after 2019 when they missed finals, 2020, 2021, they made finals and they've done so well. And then obviously 2023 they made the finals in top 4, and that they lost at Brisbane, and they choked at home to the Giants. And the prelims in 2020, 2021, they did not have to travel at all. They had Geelong twice in those years. They beat Geelong, but then it was after that when they lost to Richmond by kick, which, again, that could have gone either way. But then to get smacked by the Bulldogs in which they had to travel more, that's to me more disappointing in my opinion is Port Adelaide, and credit to the boys. They played really well and they deserve this win as well. Bulldogs going to drop them by 18 points now. 15-10, 100 to 12-10, 82. Look, at the end of the day, bad kicking is bad football, right? And we had our chances, particularly where we could have kicked a few goals as well. We dominated the third quarter, but we kicked one behind the last quarter. Now, yes, Bulldogs deserve this win. I'm not taking anything away from them, but I do think that is an issue for us, is that with the injuries we had the makeshift forward line. I don't agree with what, AJ certainly does try hard, but his role is different compared to anyone else. I've said it on Scoot Streams as well, you don't need to be getting 40 disposals, kicking, I'm not expecting AJ to kick 5 goals a game. If he kicks 2 or 3, then he's doing his role, in my opinion. He's playing his team role. Like Billy Frampton, you might be tagging Harris Andrews. Your job and your role is to stop Harris Andrews. Therefore, you got to play that role. And even if you kick goals, great, but you got to stop him from influencing the game. That's, to me, how you play your role in the side. And, look, Sam Darcy's been suspended for 2 weeks for his bump on Brayden Maynard, and I've heard all the commentary about that and seen it all myself, and I'll talk about it after I do all the games. So I don't want to go into it now, but just the way that I think, just the way that we handle it as a crowd when we booed Sam Darcy and we got around Maynard, and the way the Collingwood players stood up for Maynard as well. I'm very proud of that standing up for teammates, and you're not going to try and intimidate us. You're not going to try and intimidate me or anything like that. We're adamant. We're always going to be there, and I'm glad that we've done that. Look, disappointing as it is with the loss, and we're now out of the 8 only because of the Gold Coast Suns game, and I'll do that later. But having said that too, the makeshift forward line, the injuries that we've had out, can be pretty proud of that effort. Might certainly did hurt, but it probably might feel like a win, and it might be weird as that, but yeah, it is pretty interesting indeed itself. Now, Hawthorn going to drop down by 27 points now. 16-11 to 107 to 12-8, 80. I think, to me, I picked Adelaide. And the lead for the Hawks with 48 points now. Adelaide did come back pretty well, and I think with the one rush and one touch, 3 rush behind as well, but they certainly missed their opportunities as well. Tal Walker was injured, but the way that the Hawks have been playing as well, they've been sensational. Crouch had a good game with 35 disposals. Dylan Moore kicking 5 goals, one with 27 disposals. I thought he was sensational. That he went about it. Jack Inven kicked 2 goals clear from his 22 disposals. Could have passed a few off earlier as well, but he's starting to play that role. And Borosio had 22 to aim on. So again, it's the defense is staying up, and they've been playing really well. Gunston kicking 3, Burgess kicked 3 for the Crows as well. So they certainly have been standing up in this team and really showing what they're capable of at the moment, the Hawks. I expected Adelaide to win because purely based on, Adelaide are a much better team than the Hawks on paper. And then you probably expect, some fight out of the Crows as well. But yeah, it was the way that the game went for me. It was just I can't believe that Hawthorn actually did that and play their brand of football as well. The Saints going to drop down by 14 points, 12-10, 82 to 10-8, 68. Look, it was a defensive start, but when Max King went down with a knee injury, hopefully he's alright. Their forward line was a lot better, and you can see that as well. I know other people said it, not taking that away, but you can actually tell when Max King's not there, they certainly move the ball better. But I think as well, for me, I want to see consistency from the Saints now. We know they played finals last year, but their defensive game still does not work. If they can be a bit more attacking and a bit more dare in them, that they probably, can be the most exciting teams in the competition, realistically. But because you can't really have a lot of faith in them, it's probably the reason why they played that they did as well. Geelong getting a job done by 30 points against the Tigers, 15-9, 99 to 10-9, 69. Now, for the people just look at the scoreboard, you think, Geelong dominated, but that wasn't, the way the game was. And I did stream that game, and that there were 29 points in front in the 21-minute mark in that second quarter, the Tigers, and they probably could have been 35, 40 points in front at least, and who knows what would have happened if Geelong could come back and win 2 rush behind compared to 4 rush behind for the Cats. One was touched, but I did feel like, for me, after halftime, Geelong were superb in the way that they played, and I like to see that. Richmond, without belief, it could be, has ruptured his ACL. Unfortunately, I'm hearing news on that as well. But after halftime, I think Geelong were good and they did what they needed to do. Richmond only kicked 3 goals, 2 in the last quarter to be in the second half, compared to kicking 10 goals, 6 in the end. So credit to the Cats for showing that fight and leadership. But what a win by the Cats. They certainly deserve it. If Richmond can continue on that despite the injuries, I do think that they can probably produce a lot of good footy as well. And they might win a game that not many people expect them to win as well. Now, Fremantle, 22-9, 141, yes. 22-9, 141 to 7-7-49 from Melbourne. In the most disgusting display, 92 points in the end. Fremantle played really well. Look, I did pick Fremantle. Probably weren't expecting them to kick that much. Jai missed kicking 4 goals in a great game for him. Jordan Clark had 36 disposals as well. But one thing that you saw from Fremantle is their ball movement. When you play on quick, you know exactly what you're going to get out of that. And again, that's what you got to do. You really got to do that. Tracy kicked 3 goals too. Really showed him how good his form is. Luke Jackson kicked 3 goals too as well. I thought he was sensational. Walters kicked 3 goals, 1 as well. So you just knew what you're going to get from Fremantle, and Jeremy's 4 goals. It's a very good game. Frederick had 13 disposals, kicked 2 goals straight. He was subbed off tactically, but that's fine as well. But the way that the Dockers played, and it is fun in that too. When you play on quickly against Melbourne, you can certainly get them on the counter-attack. And you can take away... Shut up! You can take away their midfield. You can take away Gaunt. Shut up! Their time. Shush. You can take away Gawn, May and Lever. You can take away May, Lever and Gawn. You play on quickly, you can get the job done that way. And I thought that was a great win for the Dockers. I thought they played really well. Again, showing Melbourne and showing the rest of the competition that you can play attacking football and you can put the score on the board, and therefore that you can make it difficult for the Ds to set up, because they want you to play slow. They don't want you to play on quickly, because if you can play on quickly, that's when you can get them on the counter attack. That's what they want you to do. They want to take possession. They want to play a kick mark style game. They want to have Gawn working back defensively and taking marks as well. Melbourne aren't known for attacking and kicking 100 points consistently. They're all about being defensive first, and therefore they can set up their scores as well. So for me, big win for the Dockers, but Melbourne were disappointing as well. And now the Gold Coast Suns winning by 11 points. That's right. 14-7-91 to 11-14-80. What a win they had. Look, to be fair, it was a very close game right throughout the game. Credit for the Bombers. Again, and this is a loss that they probably needed, but they'll definitely bounce back for sure. They're definitely going to play finals, and you can definitely see that. But the way that Trick Miller kicked that goal as well, the way that they played the Suns, I thought they were sensational in the way that they went about it. Now, I will say this as well. I thought Ben King was superb today. Flanders had 33 disposals. I thought he was sensational. Noah Anderson had 33. Zach Murray had 33 as well. But when you look at Trick Miller, 28 disposals in a goal. Ben Long kicking 4 goals as well. 4 goals, 1 to Ben King. And 3 goals to Cox as well. That's something that you don't often see enough from that, but it was really good to see how the Gold Coast Suns played, and I thought they played really well. Now, just going to go on a bit of a rant now. People, just for people to think that I was disrespectful last night on Scripture Streams, that I was not being disrespectful whatsoever. Right? What this was, Maynard got hit, and one thing that I find very disturbing, how much hate that Maynard cops. Now, as a Collingwood fan, right, you talk about concussions, but yet you're glad that somebody hit Maynard, and the fact is that you hope Cosy Picky gets Brent Maynard. You know, and the disgusting comments, even Carlton fans out there on Twitter that are saying about Maynard and that sort of stuff, and it's just like, oh, what about Maynard in a qualifying final? Let me just say something that nobody else is going to look at, right? Now, when Port Adelaide got fined $100,000, when 2 Port players collided, and you know, basically they got put in concussion protocols after being fined $100,000. They didn't come off the ground, right? They looked dazed, they looked confused, right? Jacob Wiedering did the same thing. He copped the hit, he looked dazed and confused. You know, he had to be helped up. He didn't go off the ground for a concussion test, right? Brent Daniels, and they pulled him off for a concussion test because they had a look in the arc on the tackle that he suffered, and yet he missed out the whole game. With Angus Brayshaw, he copped a knock on Taylor Adams' leg. Therefore, he looked dazed, he looked confused. He did not go off, he shook it off, and he continued playing. Now, in my aspect of this, Melbourne are responsible for leaving a player that's groggy like that on the ground. They should have took him off for a concussion test, and therefore if he passed that, then he would have been able to keep playing. Once that 15-20 minutes that happened. And yet, therefore, he will not have copped a hit from Maynard at all. What Braden Maynard did, right, is that he went to smother the ball. Now, there are other instances where players have done the same smother, and yet they've collided with their opponent, like they turned their bodies and that sort of thing. All Maynard did was jump to smother the ball, and yet tried to protect himself in a way. He couldn't go up open, otherwise he would have knocked himself out, and yet he would have been in concussion protocols. But yet they showed, especially in the tribunal, right? Because at the start, Michael Commissioner thought, no, look, there's nothing in that. It's a football accident. Yeah, accidents like that are always going to happen. You cannot prevent that, right? But one thing they did show is that Brayshaw went in towards Maynard's path. Now, that is a fact that's fucking happened. But one thing I will not take is that those fucking idiots on social media, especially on scooter streams, that can say, oh, they're happy that happened to Maynard for what he did to Brayshaw. Oh, I don't hate Collingwood, but I hate Maynard. What the fuck did Maynard do to you fucking pricks? Like, how fucking dare you to say that about him? Honestly, you fucking need to grow up a little bit more. And to be fair, Maynard isn't a fake tough guy at all. He stands up for his teammates. He plays on the edge, and that's why we love him for. And I bet you if he was on your team and doing that same stuff, you wouldn't be saying that at all. You'd be saying how great of a teammate that Maynard is. Now, other opposition players get stuck into Brady Maynard. But yet he was the one that will stand up for himself, and he'll stand up for his teammates. That shows how great the passion is. Now, as for all the other knuckleheads on there that saying that good or couldn't happen to a bloke such a dog and that's all shit, go fuck yourselves. Like you should show respect. How would you like it if Cosy Pickett did that to somebody else that ended someone's career after that concussion that they clocked and they had trouble later on? You're going to say the same thing, Right? It's just bullshit. Maynard did not cause Brayshaw to retire. It was the repeated concussions that Brayshaw's had in his AFL career, and the fact is that they've told him that you can't play. Just like with Nathan Murphy, I didn't blame the Brisbane Lions player at all. I don't blame Nick Dacos. You train the way that you want that you play in this competition. AFL football is a 360-degree contact sport where accidents are mainly going to happen. I'm all for concussion, but as you know, when you play AFL football, when you play any sport at all, you know you're going to get injured at some point. Some players are injury prone, and some players have hard heads that you can knock them out pretty good with the punch or where it is, or what Cosy Pickett did to Bailey Smith, and Bailey Smith got right up. And shout out to Wayne Carey on The Truth Hurts, because he said this numerous times, right, about the tribunal. You can hit someone real hard and they can bounce back up. Some players have hard heads, some players don't. Right? It's just a part of life. You can't say, oh, because he hit him like that and he got bounced up, or, about the impact and that sort of thing. It just shows you on the lack of brains that some people have when it comes with that. And the fact is, this needs to stop in Maynard, because I've mentioned this to a Collingwood supporter that does footy board as well, and I said, the amount of comments about Brady Maynard's been disgusting, disrespectful. It's really nasty comments. And shout out to Swoop Week for this, to say, don't worry about Maine. So look, I said something because, I just don't like that. People just hang Maynard for one fucking incident where he's not a dog, where he went up for a fucking smell. People can't get over that. That's their problem. And that's the reason why that realistically that win is because Brady Maynard is a premiership player. What about Patrick Cripps then? What? He elbowed Callum Archie out? he got a concussion. He couldn't play for 2 weeks. Yeah, he had 2 weeks from the match review panel. He had 2 weeks at the tribunal with the same lawyers, but yet got off a technicality because he paid the lawyers to get him off. And to win a fucking Brownlow is a disgrace. So why aren't people mad about that shit? But yet mad about Brandon Maynard for doing his fucking job into smothering a ball. And so what? Accidents happen where people just need to get over it. And the thing is now is that unfortunately it's sad that Angus Brayshaw had to retire, right? The same thing. But for Hamish Brayshaw to fucking say about Gaff, look, he didn't mean to hit Andrew Brayshaw, he crumbled a little bit and got him in the jaw, broke his jaw. He wasn't mad at that. He knew. He saw it. But yet when Brandon Maynard did that to Angus Brayshaw, his comments were A, pure disgusting, and B, was the most nastiest, stupidest thing that he ever said. And I'm pretty sure I did a video about that and ripped into him for that. So the family needs to get the fuck over it. And also as well, the concussions that he had back in 2017, 2018, where he took time away from the game, just to get himself right. He could have retired back then too. And yes, it's sad that they unfortunately had to pull the pin on his AFL career. He was in his prime. I do get that. And my heart does go out to him. But also the fact is that some people really need to pull their heads in a little bit and really need to start acting like adults for once in their lives. And even on every social media, and I want to see more people say, guys, enough is enough. This isn't a laughing matter anymore. People need to pull their heads and grow up. I'm starting to get pissed off about it because, I've seen this. And I'm going to defend Maynard to the hill on this one, because call me biased all you like, but the fact is that what Maynard did was a football action. If it was any other player that did that from their own teams, they would not have been complaining about that. I would have said, it's a football action. Had it been Brayshaw do that to Maynard, then I would have said, no, in that instant, there's nothing in that. So again, people need to get off their high horses and need to start building a bridge and getting over it. It's really getting to a point where, and I'm glad that Scoops, and I hope if you're watching these Scoops, I know I thanked you personally in private matter, but thank you for backing me up. Thank you for doing that on your streams as well. That this is what we need to do as a fan base, and now's the time to call people out on their behaviour and say, nah, enough is enough. This needs to stop. And I do apologise for my language, ladies and gentlemen, but it's just that this makes me angry when people say that about Maynard, and it does need to stop. And if I hear any more of this, I will be telling people to stop it. Pull your head in now. Enough is enough. This bullying that's going on social media, the last thing we ever want is Brandon Maynard to receive DMs from supporters saying, oh, you fucking deserve it, you dog. And therefore, he has to delete his social media, and he hands up a mental health and he has to, take a mental health break because stupid fucking supporters are abusing him in the messages. Yet you wonder why that AFL players have mental health problems because of that. It's comments like that and supporters like that give the rest of us a bad name. We all need to do better. Nobody's perfect, and yes, we all make mistakes, but it's all about how we learn. You do not say, oh, I hope that Cosy Pickett hurts Brady Maynard or hits Brady Maynard or couldn't, Brady Maynard deserved and that sort of thing. That's just pure disgust. And I have to say something. Enough is enough. I hope you guys liked the video. Look, don't forget to drop a like and also drop a sub as well. That's my rants as well. That is enough. But until next time, bye for now, and I'll see you back in another video.